Young generations today face challenges that earlier generations did not. Many of these pressures come from systems that demand more while offering less support in return. As a result, many young adults entered adulthood with heavier burdens and fewer stable paths forward. The following reasons show exactly what is happening to young people today and why these conditions feel so overwhelming to face. Reason number 1 is the struggle to secure stable, permanent housing. In the 2000s and 2010s, home prices rose several times faster than wages, creating a cost gap that kept widening year after year. Housing forms the base of long-term security, yet limited construction and heavy investor buying pushed that base further out of reach than ever before. This forces long periods of renting and creates a feeling that stable footing keeps slipping away. Over time, the idea of a lasting home drifts from a steady target to something that always seems one step farther down the road. Reason number 2 is the decline of early career buying power. Entry-level income struggled to match the rising cost of normal living, even as the broader economy produced more. Everyday expenses crept upward, stretching paychecks thinner with each passing year. Over time, building financial security becomes slow and difficult, as if progress keeps meeting a quiet push backward. Reason number 3 is the rise of required higher education. From the 1990s onward, employers increasingly treated university degrees as basic requirements for roles that once relied on simpler, practical skills. Meanwhile, tuition costs rose far faster than household incomes, making education heavier to afford and harder to access. This delays stable employment and pushes the starting point of adult life further away. Reason number 4 is the growing weight of personal debt. Student loans, car loans, and credit-based expenses expanded rapidly for young adults during the 2000s and 2010s. Debt-to-income ratios rose, and monthly payments claimed a growing share of earnings. Debt slows savings, slows stability, and makes long-term planning feel like reaching through water. Reason number 5 is the loss of stable career paths. Long-term employment with predictable progress became less common, replaced by short contracts, freelance roles, and gig-based work arranged through digital platforms. This creates irregular income and places long-term plans on unsteady ground. Over time, the ability to build reliable security drifts further away. Reason number 6 is the decline of close friendships. Research from the 2010s and early 2020s showed that younger adults often had fewer close friends than earlier generations. Community spaces, local clubs, neighborhood groups, civic associations, places of worship saw steady drops in participation. With fewer gathering spots, everyday connection thins out and loneliness grows quietly in the background. Reason number 7 is the difficulty of dating and forming lasting relationships. Dating moved heavily onto digital platforms, where a small group of profiles received most of the attention. Smaller social circles and rising living costs added more strain, making long-term partnerships harder to form. Stable relationships began feeling like something that required navigating a maze rather than following a clear path. Reason number 8 is the rising cost of raising children. Childcare became significantly more expensive during the 2000s and 2010s, often costing as much as rent. Housing in areas with strong schools also climbed sharply, turning basic family planning into a financial puzzle. Over time, building a stable family life becomes heavier and more complicated to manage. Reason number 9 is the increasing weight of climate risks. Extreme weather events, storms, floods, heat waves, wildfires became more frequent across the 2000s and 2010s. Insurance costs rose, and coverage disappeared entirely from some high-risk regions. Communities faced more disruption and more fear about the future as environmental conditions grew unpredictable and fragile. Reason number 10 is the weakening of public safety nets. Programs supporting healthcare, retirement income, housing, and unemployment came under heavy strain. Funding failed to keep up with rising need, leading to higher personal costs for basic services. Over time, the burden shifted more onto individuals, leaving fewer buffers when hardship arrives. Taken together, these reasons show how the foundation of adult life changed in a short period of time. None of these pressures came from personal failure. They came from long-term decisions and shifting institutions that shaped the world young people stepped into. The challenges are heavy and widespread, but there is still room for better days ahead. Each generation eventually reshapes the conditions it inherits, sometimes slowly and sometimes through steady effort that builds over time. The obstacles are real, but so is the strength of the generation facing them.